It all started with one story, a story that sounded so wild people couldn't decide if it was a joke or the ultimate diva move. Back in 2022, Glee star Heather Morris went viral after revealing something shocking on the Just Saying podcast. Heather, who was a professional dancer long before she became a TV star, claimed that Jennifer Lopez once held an audition for her tour that didn't end the way anyone expected. According to Heather, J.Lo walked into the audition room after a long day of rehearsals, looked at the exhausted group of dancers and said, "Thank you so much, you guys have worked so hard. By a show of hands, if there are any Virgos in the room, can you just raise your hand?" So naturally, a few people raised their hands. And that's when it happened. Heather claimed that J.Lo whispered to her assistant, looked back at the dancers and said, "Thank you so much for coming." That was it. The Virgos were done. Sent home. After spending an entire unpaid day auditioning, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Heather herself admitted it could have been hearsay. She wasn't sure if the story was 100% true, but still, the internet ran with it. Because let's be real, J.Lo refuses to hire Virgos is exactly the kind of headline that breaks the internet. Within hours, social media was flooded with memes, jokes, and of course, a few angry Virgos ready to defend their star sign. But was it a real story? Or just another exaggerated Hollywood rumor that got out of control? At the time, Jennifer Lopez stayed completely silent. She never denied it, never addressed it. Nothing. And that silence only made the story grow. For years, it lingered like a strange little pop culture mystery, until now. Because after 3 years, J.Lo has finally broken her silence, and what she said has fans more divided than ever. The moment that clip hit the internet, chaos. TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, everyone had something to say. And for once, it wasn't about J.Lo's outfits or Ben Affleck, it was about her Zodiac preferences. On one side, people were laughing, saying things like, "Classic J.Lo energy, rejecting people for being too grounded," and, "I guess Virgos are just too organized for her." But others weren't joking. Many dancers, and even astrology fans, called it unprofessional and disrespectful. After all, these weren't influencers showing up for a brand deal. These were working performers who had spent all day unpaid chasing one opportunity. One Reddit comment summed it up perfectly. "If this really happened, imagine thinking your birth month cost you a paycheck." Meanwhile, Twitter memes went absolutely feral. People were posting fake audition flyers that said things like, "J.Lo World Tour auditions, no Virgos, no Mercury retrogrades." And the wildest part? The story just wouldn't die. Every few months, someone would bring it back, either as a meme, a joke, or a hot take about diva behavior in Hollywood. It became part of the J.Lo myth, like her demanding white flowers in dressing rooms, or her allegedly firing assistants for small mistakes. For 3 years, people kept wondering, was it true? Was it taken out of context? Or was this one of those, so Hollywood, it has to be real moments? And then, just when everyone thought it had been forgotten, Jennifer Lopez finally decided to speak up. After 3 years of silence, Jennifer Lopez finally decided to clear the air. And of course, she did it on live television. During a recent appearance on Watch What Happens Live, host Andy Cohen asked her the question everyone had been waiting for. Was it true? Did J.Lo really send dancers home just for being Virgos? And without missing a beat, she laughed. Like, really laughed. Then she said, "You know, I've thought about this. I think I had maybe just had an issue with a Virgo, and I said, if anybody's a Virgo here, get out." She smiled, shrugged, and kept going. "But I didn't mean it." They could walk away and say that, of course, but I'm sure they knew I was joking. Or maybe they felt like I wasn't, but I was, absolutely. It was a joke. And that was it. No dramatic denial. No apology. Just J.Lo laughing it off like it was all in good fun. The audience laughed too. But online, people weren't exactly buying it. Because to some, it didn't sound like a harmless joke. It sounded like what one Reddit user later called a bully trying to backtrack after everyone finally called her out. Fans were torn. Was she really joking? Or just downplaying a diva moment that got caught in the spotlight? Whatever the truth was, one thing became crystal clear. J.Lo's answer didn't end the story. It just lit it up all over again. The internet wasted no time. And this time, the jokes were not in J.Lo's favor. Almost as soon as the clip aired, social media lit up with comments calling her response tone-deaf, dismissive, and peak celebrity privilege. One Reddit user wrote, "Sounds like such a bully justification. I thought it was a joke. Wow, they're so sensitive. A joke is something where everyone laughs, J.Lo, not just you." Another person added, "Yes, it's hilarious to mess with working people's paychecks. I bet their stomachs hurt from laughing so much." And someone else summed it up perfectly. "Imagine spending all day auditioning unpaid only to be eliminated because your birthday's in September. That's not comedy. That's cruelty." Ouch. Even fans who usually defend J.Lo admitted that the comment felt off. The timing, the tone, the shrug, everything about it came across as someone not reading the room. But of course, this is the internet, where outrage and humor always mix. Memes started flying again. J.Lo checking birth charts before dance rehearsals. Breaking, Beyoncé cancels auditions for Scorpios. And my favorite, a fake news headline that said, J.Lo announces new Zodiac free hiring policy. Still, underneath the laughter, people were genuinely frustrated. They saw the clip as another example of a powerful celebrity brushing off something that clearly affected others. And if J.Lo thought this clarification would smooth things over, it actually did the opposite. Because now, fans weren't just talking about Virgos. They were questioning whether J.Lo was really as kind and relatable as she's always claimed to be. So, why did this story, out of all celebrity rumors, refuse to die? Why did one little Virgo joke follow Jennifer Lopez for 3 whole years? The answer's simple. It hit a nerve. Because for most people, this wasn't just about astrology. It was about power. Think about it. Professional dancers spend their entire lives training. They wake up before dawn, practice until their bodies ache, and fight for auditions that can make or break their careers. And most of those auditions? They're unpaid. So when people heard a story about someone like J.Lo, a multi-millionaire superstar, joking about rejecting dancers over their star sign, it struck a chord. To the internet, it wasn't funny. It was symbolic. It represented every time someone in power treated hard-working people like they were disposable. That's why the reaction was so strong. It wasn't just about Virgos. It was about fairness. About how success can sometimes make people forget what it's like to struggle. And whether the story was true, exaggerated, or completely misunderstood, it reminded everyone how thin the line is between confidence and condescension. For some fans, it even changed the way they saw J.Lo, because once a moment like that goes viral, whether it's real or not, it sticks to your image. Every interview, every clip, every smile becomes part of the public's narrative. That's the strange thing about celebrity culture. It only takes one story, one joke, to shift everything. And no matter how much J.Lo laughs it off, this one left a mark. At the end of the day, this whole Virgo saga says less about zodiac signs and more about celebrity power. Jennifer Lopez has spent decades building an image of confidence, discipline, and perfection. She's a global icon, a performer known for control of her craft, her body, her brand. But that same perfectionism can sometimes read as something colder, detached, even a little ruthless. So when a story like this goes viral, people project all their feelings about fame, privilege, and power onto it. To some, she's just joking. To others, it's proof she's out of touch. And that's what makes celebrity culture so fascinating. We don't just watch famous people, we interpret them. Every laugh, every shrug, Every offhand comment becomes part of their myth. Was J.Lo serious? Probably not. Was it a smart thing to say in an audition full of exhausted, unpaid dancers? Definitely not. But whether you think it was harmless humor or diva behavior, it proves one thing. Perception is everything. Because in the age of social media, your words don't just disappear. They echo. And once the internet decides who you are, it's almost impossible to change their minds. So maybe this isn't about Virgos at all. Maybe it's about how one powerful person's joke can turn into another person's breaking point. Either way, this little Hollywood story became a massive cultural moment because it reminds us that behind the glitter, fame is still very, very human. So, what do you think? Was J.Lo unfairly judged, or did she cross the line between confidence and cruelty? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more pop culture deep dives. Because in Hollywood, the stars aren't the only ones being judged.